right, look, we halfway through the confidence course 1.0. There's 2.0 and 3.0, but we're halfway through 1.0. And I'm going to just take a little time. We're in the intermission. This is an intermission. I want you to relax. I just want to talk to you for a minute, not about the course, really, just about some things. I really, I really can't even believe that you're still here. I really can't. I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to let you know that I'm a regular guy. I smoke. I smoke weed. I drink. I mean, I have all the negatives. I smoke Swissers. I mean, I got all the fucking negatives. I'm not trying to make you think you have to be some sort of special person. But what I want you to know, what I want you to understand, is that at any moment, I'm putting it down. This drink, I'm putting it down. Why? Because I don't want anything controlling me. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and I want you to do what you want to do. But there's a time for everything, and anything can become too much. So what I'm trying to tell you is, that where I'm coming from with this course is I'm not trying to make you think that I'm some special person that you need to follow. I'm not trying to make you think I know. Well, I do know some shit you don't know, but it's not so special that you can't learn it. What it is it's a way of life. Let me put this out because I'm done. What it is a way of life that you're going to incorporate with your life. Now, I have all the negative habits that you have. The one big difference that I have, and I'm trying to teach it to you, and I'm sure gonna teach it, and I'm sure you gonna teach it to your sons. But the difference is I'm not using anything I do as a crutch, as a reason for me not going 3,000 miles per hour straight ahead. So you do. You'll let anything you do, anything you enjoy become a problem because you're not in control of yourself. So before we get back into this, think about what I'm telling you now. Think about it. Because what I'm finna tell you now, I'm telling you, is very important. And the reason I've been being the way I've been being thus far is because you weaklings, I want you out. And by now you're gone. You haven't bought part 3. You don't want to know. You see it's too hard. But it's not hard for you guys, you Trojans, you cats that really want this, because you see there's something here for you. Just take the time to get it. Take the time to get it. Now, we're leaders. We are leaders. And whether you know it or not, you show you're a leader because you've come to a leader training facility. And let me tell you, I'm really impressed. I'm serious. After all I've done to scare off the fakers, after all I've been talking about in the first 2 parts of the course to make it seem almost impossible, you still here. You still here. You stayed the course. that means you want it. That means that you possibly deserve it, but you still have to earn it. That's what we doing. That's where we going in the second half. You're going to earn these things. This is why you're going to become this person that thinks the way you think, because you're not just thinking it. You're doing the things to make you see what you think is real. There's no time for faking. There's no time for making excuses. You got to understand, you want to be a rote learner, a person that reads shit, a person that have to see shit, a person that, so you can remember it, and that's all you do is remember that shit. And then you come up with those answers in your life. Yeah. But that shit is all wrote down. That shit is all a certain way. What if your life don't go that way? What if your life go a totally different way? There's a way you can handle that. And that's what we doing. It's active learning, dealing in real time with what you know or what you don't know. And the way we're doing it here, we're making it to where once you realize you know it, you can relax and be comfortable because you know what you're doing. You're not guessing about what you're doing. That's all you guys are used to doing. Guessing. You ain't sure. I wonder this, I wonder that. That's why you use Google. That's why you call me. That's why you email Steve the Dean. Because, you want to know. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to know. But most of you've gotten the information. So in that case, you should know. Why don't you know? Because of what I'm finna take you through to know now. You don't believe in yourself. I'm going to show you how to believe in yourself. I'm going to show you in the rest of this course that you can do things to make you know you ain't no fake. And the only way you gonna know you ain't no fake is to get out and do this shit I'm about to tell you to do. This shit is sacred. The information I'm going to give you is sacred, and it's only for a few men. And only a few of those few will actually incorporate this shit into their very being. That's what I did. You don't have to. But that's what I did. I incorporated it into my very being. When I'm asleep and wake up, I'm thinking this shit. But if you are one of the ones who I can show the path to where I'm talking about going, well, you see me. Shit, I'm almost 70. I'm almost 70 years old. Yeah, and I ain't stopping. I ain't stopping until it's over. Now let's go to work with part 3. Since you're really sticking with this, which can only mean you're indeed serious. I'm sure by now you found out that's what it's gonna take. You have to be serious if this is what you want. So, now that we've come this far, you need to learn how to channel your view of your new confidence. And you have to do that so it'll work for you. Having confidence without channeling it properly to what you want is no good. You have to have, because confidence is all this. Some of this shit is a waste of time. 90% of it is a waste of time. So you want to channel it. You want to channel it. Because that's the only way it's going to work. Now, this is part 3 of my male confidence course. You've probably discovered that confidence is an important aspect of your life, and living without it can be a task that many adult males feel hopeless about. Tell me, be real. Have you really thought about the level of confidence you have or not? And if you have you thought about what you can do if it's less to get more? And if you did think about it in some kind of way you couldn't get it, didn't you feel hopeless about it? Isn't that why you accepted standing on the sidelines of life? Because you felt hopeless about changing the way you think? Every question I ask you deserves an honest answer. I don't give a fuck what you say, because I ain't got the problem. You should give a fuck what you say. Now, if you have, well, first of all, we got to get this straight. You're different. So far, you've proven that you are different. How do I know that? 30, 40 people get this stuff in a month. And I mean, 10 may follow up. And out of them, maybe 4 will be like you. We'll keep going because they want it. Now, I don't know what the percentage of that is. I don't really trip like that. But what I trip about, only one have to really like it and see it and implement it for me to believe I'm making a difference. But there's way more than one. So follow me. Understand this is real. And unless you think of it as something real, you're not going to realize that you're a different breed of man. Or you're about to become a different breed of man. Who, if you stayed on track and followed the steps in the first 2 parts of this course. See, well, I'm saying you got to understand this. If you did not do your work, if you did not do what you supposed to have done according to parts 1 and 2, I couldn't say this about you. But I'm speaking to you as if you have done what you supposed to have done in parts 1 and 2. Thusly, I can say, if you've done what you're supposed to do in parts 1 and 2, you've seen improvements. You've seen improvements in your confidence level. I guarantee it. I can't guarantee that you will see improvements in your confidence level because you bought the course. I can only guarantee that you, right at this point, have seen improvements in your confidence level if you have done what parts 1 and 2 says you should do. Now, I'll even go as far as to say that your confidence right now, and we haven't even really got into what's going to kill you. But right now, with the little shit we've learned, I bet your confidence is at an all-time high. Come on. Be real with me. That's why you got this next part. Because you believe it's going to work. Check this out. The next steps you're going to take on this journey is to learn how to maintain and increase this confidence that you've acquired. It cannot and it will not maintain itself. This is something you have to accept. It's like anything, whatever it is that get used, you're going to have to service it. It's just that your mental capacities are being used 24/7, so you have to service it regularly. And if you don't, it's not going to be proper. I'm just letting you know. It's all a part of maintaining what's going on up here. So you have wisely chosen, you wisely considered some options. And listen, unless what you've gotten from parts 1 and 2, you can look in the mirror and honestly say you've incorporated these things into your life, or honestly say you're incorporating them into your life. Now, one is a flat out statement, and the other one is I'm going to do it, or, I'm doing it. I believe both. But me, I ain't about to be doing nothing. Fuck that. I'm going to make the flat out statement. I done did what I was supposed to do. That's me. I don't know about you. I'm just saying, you done did this. Whatever you done did, whatever you got this course for, you did it in order to become a man that has no fear. No fears when it comes to speaking to or interacting with an attractive woman. A boss sitting behind a desk with his suspenders on. The police pulling you. The little kid that may need some sort of assistance. Anything. It doesn't matter. You're going to deal with it with what you are. Because you are what you think. And if you think properly, all you have to do is represent what you think. That's why I think it and I do it. I do not give a fuck what I thought until afterwards. If it's wrong or fucked up, oh man, I'll do that. But never do I have to do that. Maybe once or twice or whatever. But I'm saying not often. I think it and do it, and I keep going all day long. I do my shit all day long. Every day. What I'm trying to say to you, bro, you learn what you need to do. And hopefully you put together a routine and stuck to it. You can't forget the importance, and I can't express this enough. Do not forget any of the things that you've learned with me so far. Because if you didn't go through 1 and 2 right, you haven't incorporated this into your life. And it's going to be hard for you to really, really understand and deal with what I'm going to tell you about. So even though it's not 100, continue to practice everything. Even when you feel you got it down, continue to practice with it. You have to understand, everything you've learned is important. Everything that you've learned so far is important. It should not be placed on the shelf. I'll just sit this over here, just store it over there in your mind, until you think you're ready to use it. No, you have to utilize this stuff on purpose. You got to make yourself use this so you can see what's going on, so you can see that you can make things happen. You can make things happen. You just don't. That's because you don't believe in yourself. Just follow me. Follow my thinking. Because if you're smart, you're going to continue to practice these daily steps to confidence. Because we all know this is new. You can't act like you already got it. When does a professional baseball player stop practicing? There's not many ways to do this shit successfully, but you only become confident when you're comfortable doing the things that promote confidence. When it requires you to say, "Excuse me, ma'am, can I help you?" And you're not comfortable doing that, you ain't gonna be comfortable. Excuse me, confident. If you do, it's gonna be real difficult to become. Why take the difficult road? Work smarter, not harder. Remember that. See, that's one of the main things this course does for you. It shows you how to be comfortable doing the things that people know, excuse me, doing the things that let people know you're cool, calm, and confident in your shoes. You're not pretending to do or be anything. You just are. You just are. When you do it in the first person, it's just I am. But third person, we are. I'm telling you. So let's do a quick review of the techniques that you've practiced to gain confidence. And then we'll get on with some more integral parts of part 3. Now remember, negative thoughts. And just remember, negative thoughts are things that can be dealt with. You just got to know what to do about them. Don't mistake the excitement that you're feeling about learning this with thinking you got this, with thinking you understand this. What you understand is English, and I'm speaking in English. So you understand the words I'm using, but you have no idea of the power the words possess. And until you understand that when you say up, you could mean up, you could mean up. It's just so many things you could mean with the word up. Because that's English. English is the only language that have 10, 12 meanings for the same word. Every other language, maybe one or two colloquial in the actual meaning. So, what I'm saying is, you gotta understand what you're learning is new. And what you're thinking may or may not be correct at this point. But let's wait and see. Don't make any decisions right now. Now, you may have done everything to your satisfaction. Every little thing that's been requested of you thus far, you may have done them to your satisfaction. But this is like learning a new language. You got to practice using this new information at every chance you get if you really want to try to master these techniques. There's several techniques, and you got to remember the first one, you got to stop thinking about it. When you get that negative thought concerning a woman, Just stop thinking it. The second technique is to make sure you check out what you're thinking. Don't just think something. Check out what you're thinking. When you see that attractive woman and you get that negative thought, stop and check out what you're thinking. And more importantly, why are you thinking it? The third way to deal with negative thoughts concerning you and women is to inflate it way out of proportion. When you think that beautiful woman won't give you the time of day, add to it and blow it to a wild, exaggerated state. Blow it up so you can laugh at it. And the fourth way is to neutralize it or offset it. When you get that negative thought, you just frustrated. You frustrated by thinking the exact opposite. Now these four techniques are what you need to learn to use. You need to learn to use it. You can use them in any way you want, any combination, and I'm telling you, it'll keep your garden neat and clean, which translate to your mind not having unnecessary clutter in the way to keep you from thinking the right thoughts. Now, another important fact. You need to take this in at this point. The tools that you've learned, the tools that you've gotten are the most important factors to you becoming the man that you want to become. What you've learned so far, even though it's only minute, because this is the third part of a 9-part course. So you just have to understand there's a lot to learn. What I'm saying is these tools that you learn, they're so important to you actually becoming this man. The confidence, excuse me, the confidence you're experiencing now is a baby. And if you don't nurture it, you have to nurture a baby, take care of it, color it, feed it, make sure it's clean, do everything for it because it's a baby. If you don't do this for your confidence, it's going to slowly decline. And without you knowing it, you're going to sink back into the rut that you was in before you started the course. Now, I'm sure you don't want to do that. But if that happens, lucky for you, you do have the links. It's always wise to revisit them regularly, even 2 years from now when you're doing well. It's wise to revisit the links from the beginning because you cannot imagine what level you're going to be seeing this information on. When you gain the information, you was on the ground level, bottom level. After 2 years of using this information, you may be on level 6 out of 10. Think about this. All the things you've learned from level 1 to 6 have gave you a different outlook on life as opposed to how you've seen it on level 1. So if this material that you've seen on level 1 was sharp, informative, and now you're on level 6 looking at the same material, how you not going to get more game out of it? How you not going to see 3 or 4 times as many things as you saw when you didn't have no game? That's how this works. Confidence is tricky, and it needs to be tended to often, especially when you just getting it. That's why everything you do, everything you think, everything is about it. To build it, you must practice using it. At every opportunity you get, you need to show yourself the confident move. Choose it consciously. Don't just be confident unconsciously. Choose something on purpose and do it. One of the easiest ways I can suggest to build confidence is to be nice to people. Being courteous to everyone you meet is a good way to get away from comfort zones. Now, we'll talk about comfort zones a little later. Putting yourself out there the way offering to help someone does is it does wonders for your confidence because you're learning to approach people. This old lady pushing this cart and she need to get up the sidewalk. You see her, ma'am, can I help you? Woo, whatever you say, however you do it, you're being forward. And the more you be forward, and the more you control how you be forward, because this old lady got to have the right tone in your voice, got to make sure everything is nice and soft. You don't want to scare her, and you want to help. I mean, you got to think of all this. This brings confidence because these things you're thinking, you're doing, and it's getting the result you want. Little things, bro. Little things that you don't even see, little things that you don't even think about is why you're not confident. Remember all the things you learned in the last two parts. All of them are invaluable to your success. And if you want to become more relaxed and smoother in your persona or in your personality, you got to revisit everything that you're learning often. And you got to build on it. Now, do you remember? You got to learn to concentrate. Remember I said that? Concentrating is being able to focus on one thought at a time. You got to learn to focus on one negative thought at a time in order to get it out your mind. You also should learn how to contemplate, which involves disciplining your mind to think about something. These are things you take for granted. Concentrate and contemplate. Two words you take for granted because you know what they mean vaguely. What do contemplate mean? See, you don't know. If you've mastered these two words, these two things, you truly are on your way. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You truly on your way. Now, uh, this part of the course is about what to do and how you're going to perceive your newfound confidence. And we've learned that confidence requires a new skill that you can learn quickly. Excuse me, we didn't learn it. We're going to learn that confidence requires this skill. But you got to maintain it. Now, you're going to learn how to use and maintain both this skill and your confidence. All it requires is a little dedication on your part. Now, do you know what an aura is? If you could visualize an aura, it would be uh, just a substance surrounding me, not harming me, but a mist. Just say it's a mist, and it's everywhere I walk. This mist follows me, and it's wide, maybe 3 times as wide as my arms are in all directions. All directions. So what I'm saying is, an aura can be part of you. I mean, actually, it is a part of you, or it's a characteristic, or it's a distinctive impression that you leave with somebody you spoke with. My point. This trait, this characteristic, or whatever, this impression, is created by you or me. Let's just say you. It's created by you by representing what you think. A lot of people could think and be, whatever, withdrawn. See, you gotta represent what you think. If you think outwardly, you'll stand erect. You won't be hidden. You'll do things. Your voice will be up. It's just a lot of things. It's an aura. And when you leave, dang, who was he? That dude had his shit together. They say that. You can't really put your finger on what makes them say it, but it's there. Otherwise, uh, me. Let's say me and you don't know me, but I see you in Walmart, and some kind of way we get to talking, and I get to telling you about all this man shit, woo woo woo. And when I leave, you're gonna be saying, damn. And I gave you a card, and when I leave, you used to be, damn. I'm gonna check this shit out, man. Something about that. All of this is what I'm talking about right now. It's just a feeling somebody gets from seeing you in public or being in close proximity of you. That's what an aura is. Now I still have an aura, but I had a really pimpish aura at one time. My aura could not be denied. And there wasn't no mistaking that I was confident. But now I have a different kind of aura. And depending on what you're looking for, I'm either a fly OG or an educated OG. Most times both, but there are times when I need to identify which one of these traits will catch that woman I'm talking to. See, when you on a date, or even when you're just meeting someone for the first time, intellect only works in your favor when you expose as little of it as possible. You don't want to act dumb, but you certainly don't want to use impressive language that only you understand or some other uh, PhD student. Big word this, big word that. Your aura is going to come from speaking in plain, understandable words. Come see the cat. Of course, you don't want to talk like that, but those are plain, understandable words. In order to make these words powerful, you got to know when to pause, and you got to know what to emphasize when you speak. Simple words are the most powerful words to speak to a woman with. Not a woman, a person. Because it makes it difficult for them to misunderstand you. It makes it difficult for them to misunderstand your conversation. So the smaller the words and the more you put it together in succinct sentences, the more you're engaging this person. The moment you say, you know what I mean, she's disengaged because she don't know what the fuck you mean. She know what you might mean. But if you say, yeah, I'm going across the railroad tracks over here and turn right, you know what I'm saying? She'll say, yeah. I'm just saying, man, if you want to catch, you better do the shit. If you don't, don't waste your time doing the fuck. One of the first things that you're going to learn from this part of the course is how to develop that aura. So get used to hearing new things without panicking. This is something to acknowledge and be accountable for when we talk. Now, you can't be afraid of the things that you don't know nothing about. You just have to accept you don't know about and be willing to learn about it. You can't be afraid of what you don't know anymore. Now, be honest, haven't you been? Oh, that's right, you're honest. Okay, if you are, let's roll. And let me explain why you should never fear the unknown. I mean, never fear the unknown again. See, what you're getting from this course is going to help you in any aspect of your life because you know factually. You may not know it now, but you're going to learn through the course of this course factual things that you're a force within yourself and you can make big changes happen in life. You can do this. Now, the only way you will do it is if you realize just knowing this shit will make you braver and it's going to force you to stand up to any new challenge or anything that comes across your path. Or will it? Just knowing it. SWU, Sidewalk University, is called the Go-Getters because we know no matter what you know, if you don't go get it, it's not happening. Period. It's not happening because you want it. Shit. If that's the case, we all want $1 million. Come on. You gotta be brave. Now I could charge a lot, just hella more for this damn course. But you're not being charged thousands of dollars for it. Now I wonder if you can see what you get. Because I've had it some years. It started out like $45. So it's, hella more now. But what I'm saying is it could be hella more tomorrow. But it's not because I ain't really, I want money, don't get me wrong. But I ain't tripping like that. Through this course, you're learning about, and you're just learning about shit that you're taking control of. And these are various aspects of your life. You're learning about them and you're learning how to take control of them. This is just big. This is things that you've taken for granted. You didn't already took it for granted that this cannot be changed. I'm going to have to deal with it. You're realizing that you're going to realize that you can and you will change. You will change those that you knew you couldn't change. Those things about you. Those things about you that you know ain't cool, so does everybody else. So no matter how much you try to hide the shit, they still see it. So this aura that I'm talking about is an extension of your confidence. And once someone is in your aura, it's like for lack of better words, a drug. They're like they're not, I want to be with you, Rose. But they're not like that. But it's like a drug. They're very susceptible to what you're saying because your aura have them. They're in your aura, and as long as you represent this aura, it's just pleasant. This is real life. If you don't bring this aura with you, you're not going to catch. See, this aura is an extension of your confidence. The very same confidence that you developed, that's within you. So don't let the fact that you're trying to use it now, don't let it throw you off. Don't let it be a big deal. Just know this shit and learn how to deal with it. You want to hear it and master it like that. That's not how it works. You have to hear it, go fuck up using it, and some go right over here, and next thing you know, you didn't use it 200-300 times, and you know what you're doing. And until then, you're not gonna be shit. You're just gonna have information. Information that you don't use stays in your head and becomes weeds. I'm telling you. Isn't this why You took the time to develop your confidence so that you can use it to your advantage at all times. I mean, you're learning how to trust your instincts. You're going to be able to use this confidence whenever you choose to use it. First, I must confess something to you. I told you I've been in the streets. I know how to do shit. See, you didn't learn all this information so far backwards. And I got to tell you this so that we can get you up uh, up to date, not up to date, but up to what we're talking about because you learned it backwards, and when I explain it, you'll understand. You learned it backwards, which is why it was so inexpensive at first. Well, that's why it's really inexpensive because I just had too much integrity to allow you to learn information that you couldn't use. And everything I'm saying, you couldn't use it unless you had some game. You gotta have some. Now the average guy would have took your money and they wouldn't have gave a hoot about whether or not you could understand what his approach was. He would have saw it as an avenue to make more money off you. I, on the other hand, I'm not simply out for your money. I seriously want to offer you some insight to what's needed in each of your cases. See, you had no game to speak of at first. So, to give you this information, knowing you couldn't process it to your advantage would have been reckless on my behalf. That's why in the first two parts of this course, I sneaked in giving you a little game. With those tools I had you use, oh man, you don't know. They definitely put an impression on you. And if you follow through with what was expected of you, you're now all the proud owners of a little game. Real live, tried and tested game. Tried by you, tested by you. If you did the little things that I asked you to do in parts 1 and 2. It's not a lot of game. You can't go across the street with it, but it's some. And it's going to allow you to see how to get more. Now, you needed to have some game. So the things I discussed with you now, you can see where you can use them in your daily routines. This is a well thought out course. And I've taken all the dangers of learning how to be an alpha thinking man concerning women in situations, but women mostly, and put it in a way for you to get it without getting hurt. So I had to design a way to get you to get some fucking game without you going in the streets. You're a little different now. And instead of suppressing what you feel, you're going to learn how to let it ooze out and give you an aura about yourself. You're not going to force what you think or how you are on anyone. They're just going to receive it. And this, well, the key to this is to try not to force anything and to just let it simply happen. Just go out for a drink, knowing you have this added confidence. Don't try to show it. Don't try to do this. Don't do nothing. Just go out. You can trust this new feeling because you know it comes from the effort that you've been making in the first two parts of the course. And this effort, without you knowing it, is bringing this feeling out. But only if you've done what the two parts 1 and 2 asked of you. Now that you can utilize discipline by what you've been doing in the past few months, can should have shown you that you're disciplining yourself. It shows you that you're serious about gaining control of what's missing in your life. The difference in this course for you now is instead of you practicing in the mirror, you're now going on stage. Everything you've learned up to this point was for this moment when you go on stage. You now need to exude what you've practiced. This is what's called active learning. This is what is missing in the course, because I can't make you do something. That's why if you don't come to SWU, you probably ain't gonna do it like everybody else. You're just gonna half do it. At SWU, you gonna do it, or you gonna get talked about. Not negatively, but I'm gonna tell you what you're doing wrong. See, this can be a little intimidating at first, but the simple things to do that I'm gonna share with you is gonna make it just that simple. Now, to begin to let your confidence ooze out, the only thing you need to do is remember that you've learned and planned what you need to do. You planned what you need to do in order to not be defeated by a simple no. You got to understand, when you ask the question like, do you have a moment? That's a yes or a no answer. And you can't be shocked by either. You have to accept. You got to stop setting yourself up for defeat. And you do that by expecting to hear a specific yes or no in that instance. You got to expect to hear many answers. The ones you prepared for also, but ones you didn't prepare for. In this way, you're ready for anything, and I mean anything that could possibly occur. Expecting to hear anything allows you to anticipate any number of different responses instead of dreading one response. This is also arming your aura and is preparing it for battle, because your aura is an offensive weapon. Think about it. If you're a basketball player and you guarding me, and you think I'm gonna do a jump shot, and I make a move like I'm finna do a jump shot, but I'll swoop around and do a little hook. See, I didn't got over on you. But if you guard me expecting anything, because you know I'm slick as hell, whatever move I make, you're gonna be ready. Because you ain't anticipating no move. You just ready for all moves. See, your aura is an offensive weapon to use on people without you having to consciously activate it. It'll become such a part of you that you're going to forget it's working until somebody says something to you about it. When you hear a comment, dang, man, something changed about you. Believe me, your aura has arrived. Believe me, some form of this statement is going to be spoken to you in the next few months. So be prepared to accept that compliment. Be prepared to understand that you've done your job, so you accepting that compliment with the utmost gratitude, because you realize your aura has been noticed. Now, here's a couple of practice scenarios, and you're going to need to do exactly what's explained in order to see results. These are some of the attitudes to have for the best results. Now, when you think about going into a public place, no matter where, as long as it's outside of your house, you got to have the mentality that every person with eyes, they're looking at you. You got to know that. That don't, mean you got to walk around like none of that. This means you must walk into a club or a bar or wherever you are, feeling as if you can't lose. Don't look around to see who's looking at you. Don't look around. Just know everybody is looking at you. Now, what this attitude does for you is it puts you in the frame of mind that you're on stage. Remember earlier when I mentioned that you aren't in the mirror anymore? See, you're on life's stage, and it's everywhere. You can think of this rule as the ABPs of your confidence. ABP is always be playing. Now, this is very important for being confident. When is the best time to be confident? Always. That's why you must always be playing. The second thing is if you get into a conversation, you got to concentrate, excuse me, you got to concentrate on not trying to win. Remember, you're not trying to win. That's why you didn't look around when you came in. You're not trying to win because you already won. You're a winner. You won when you came in disciplined, doing what you had planned to do, and you didn't look to see who was looking at you. Accept the small victories. That may not be a big thing, but that certainly is cool. A small victory. Don't give your mind a chance to lose. So don't think about what you really want now. You've taken the first steps in developing your ability to use your confidence to assist you in getting what you want. Let it develop. So you just concentrate on talking. Use short 1 or 2 sentence statements. Never 1 or 2 words, but 1 or 2 sentences. And whatever you do, don't use your arsenal right now. Tonight, you just trying to flow off pure confidence. You're allowing whatever happened, happen. And there is no wrong or right way to do this. Get out of your head, wrong or right. It's only do or not. Now, some of the things that I'm going to suggest for you to do is going to be a bit unconventional. But we're not conventional men, right? So, you got to notice the time when you start talking to this woman. And I'm sure you all heard the opposite, but those dudes didn't have a plan as I do. What I'm saying is when you start talking to baby, some kind of way, look at your watch. Now, if she makes a comment about it, smile and agree with what she said. Whatever it is. Because you don't give a fuck anyway. Well, you do, but you understand. If she does comment about you checking your watch, checking the time, this is also an indication that she's paying attention to your moves. So you want to be thinking all of this, and you just take a mental note and be flattered. She paying attention to me, ain't that a bitch? Yeah, I'm about to get it, baby. And see, in my experiences at this point, she's gonna ask you something that she expects you to deny when she see you checking her your watch. But don't deny it. Agree with it. Just agree with it. When you agree with her, you got to be quick with it, and then you got to cap on your agreeing with her. For example, listen, you barely get 2 words out before you look at your watch. damn, baby, but you keep talking. You ain't looking at your watch saying you gotta go. You just looking at your watch and you telling her about whatever you're telling her about. You just looked at your watch. And she said, do you have somewhere to be? Or whatever the fuck she asked you. You gotta take a word from her question and run with it. Somewhere to go? Of course I have somewhere to go, don't you? Excuse me. That's why I came right over here to speak to you before I leave, because you look like a busy woman and you might be leaving too. I didn't want to miss out on introducing myself. My name is Rosebud. What I'm saying is, come on. This is how you get at them. You don't need to know what she gonna say. You just need to hear it and think fast and believe in yourself. Shit, I'm not stuttering. All you gotta do is stay calm, because you don't need to any kind of reinforcement now. All you did was speak. But when you do need some reinforcement to really get into a conversation, you got your arsenal. Now, the reason you want to save your arsenal for a last resort is because, shit, you want to see just how much you can talk on the fly. Now, this is now. This is what we're doing now. You don't know what we're going to be doing later. Get to what we're doing now. Forget about later. Let's let later come. When you use your arsenal, things are prepared. And you're going to need to follow a certain pattern that you just set up. But you never want to be put in a position to have to use your backup. You don't want to do that. See, the exercise here is to be flexible. It's important to be flexible in order to keep your confidence from becoming a doggone handicap. This is how you become a confident man, by not using your tools frivolously. You have to see that the situation requires whatever mode you need to get in. This is just one woman. And, excuse me, Katika, you don't have to let the fact that 10 minutes then went by. You don't have to let that do, excuse me. You don't have to let that do anything but remind you to leave. Excuse me. 10 minutes don't do nothing but serve to let you know you've been there too long. Now, if you want to have a successful aura, you got to also have the mentality that an undeserving person can't be in your presence past speaking. You always want to leave any person wanting you to stay, as opposed to them wanting you to leave, of course. Now, this is a basic situation I described that you might find yourself to be in. And this is what you need to do in that situation. I can't tell you what I would say and expect, you to get the same results I would. It's not that I'm so much sharper than you, but I'm me and you're you. Whatever I say goes with my personality. And I'm going to be able to say whatever to follow it up that's going to bring me the results I'm looking for. If I say go say this and you don't know what to say after it, come on. That's just crazy. Now that's why it's imperative that you come up with your own words. I might tell you the situation or the scenario, but the words you use should be your own. Now let me explain why it won't work any other way. And I'm sure you've all heard of time travel. Now, even if you don't believe in it, we all kind of have an idea of how time travel works. Now, if I wanted to go back to a particular time in a particular place, I would have to put all of the exact coordinates and any other pertinent information into that time machine so it can get me exactly where I'm trying to go. Now, if I put anything in there, even a minute off from what I put in there originally, I mean, by something even as small as a millisecond or whatever of a longitude or latitude degree, a millimeter of a longitude or latitude degree off, I'm going to end up somewhere else. What I'm saying is, if you didn't say exactly what I said, exactly how I said it, and follow up with exactly what I would follow up with, you too gonna end up somewhere else. That's why my shit won't work for you like that. One thing you need to know about confidence is it will fade away very quickly if you don't do the things to use it and maintain it. So even though some of the things that we going over, may sound over your head or out of your league, realize it was at one time, but it isn't any longer. It was out of your league until you got sharp enough to hear it, which you are now. So the correct way to see it is it was out of your league at one time, but it no longer is. Some of this shit. The position you want, uh, the position that you want is attainable now. I mean, you just gotta lock in on how to get it. You can be more confident than you already are now. The confidence basis that you have now is a strong foundation, and it's something that you can grow on. It's something that you can stretch out on if you realize how sturdy your foundation is. You can use it to stabilize yourself. Think about it. Up to now, or up until you took control of your anxieties about confidence, you could have never imagined that in this lifetime would you actually have something physical to touch to affirm that you really have some game. Real game is hard to get unless somebody lace you. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not talking about street stuff here. We're talking about game you'll be able to use no matter what walk of life you in. Knowing what to do and how you gonna do it is the first part of acquiring real game, and we learn that in the first part of this course. Now we're going to learn what we're going to learn is just as simple, but just as with the first steps, it ain't gonna do shit for you if you don't ritually practice. Now, first you need to get over some of the fears that you might still have. You gotta understand. Get over the fear of making a move on a woman. Get over it. If it's the first time up the bat, you scared to bat, but when you hit the ball, shit. If you strike out, you're gonna get another turn. You're gonna do better. There's many ways to accomplish this, but I prefer the simple way. When you see a woman and the thought of speaking to her comes, instead of thinking about it, just do it. Go speak to her. This is the best remedy I've found for facing any type of fear. Jumping right in on it. It's going to settle your nerves, and it's going to make whatever going to happen right now. The next thing you need to get over is rejection or the fear of it. Believe me, when I tell you you will not be able to get away from being rejected, you better believe it. You're going to get rejection, but rejection, you need it. We all need it. Rejection works because of the way you think of it. It hurts. What if you looked at rejection as another obstacle out of your way to the next woman? What if you understood rejection? There's many of them, and they're all obstacles that's in front of your next woman. Wouldn't you want to get them all out the way as quickly as possible? Think about it. Rejection is an obstacle in your way of getting your next woman. And let's say you got 30 rejections that you got to get out the way. Do you want to take a year to do it? A month? A day? An hour? I mean, it's up to you. What if you looked at it that way? You would be running to get rejected. What if you plotted to speak to 100 women a week, and unless you were refused or rejected by those damn 100 women, you ain't scratched the surface of deserving a woman on your own? What if you thought like that? What if you thought you should speak to 100 women, and if you don't deserve to get a woman? If you don't speak to 100 women and get rejected, you don't deserve to get a woman. What if you thought like that? It all depends on how you look at your predicament. Rejection is actually the best preparation for acceptance, because each rejection brings you that much closer to acceptance by your next woman. Now, here's some simple exercises that I designed to help you develop to the next level of thinking that you're going to need to be on. Now, the next time you're in a public place, pick a cute woman out. You're going to see her in the crowd and go up to her and say, hello, I'm whatever. It's a lovely atmosphere here. What do you think? This is all. Do it. And after you say that to her, smile broadly and prepare to walk off, bidding her a good day. Do it. Don't ask no questions. Why don't you do it? It's very simple. It's one line. Do it. Because what you're going to be doing is letting yourself get used to not expecting anything in return, in response, as a conversation. I mean, it's best to get to where you don't expect nothing for speaking to a woman. A lot of men make that mistake. Simply because a woman returns a greeting does not mean you have action. You have to learn this stuff. If you don't learn it, okay, that's on you, because I'm spitting it. This is the key. This is key to catching. Seeing your action, or seeing that you don't have action. If the woman you speaking with doesn't ask you to stay, or give you some sort of indication that she wants you to stay, you ain't got no action. But what you might have is her attention, which is just as good as having action, as long as you know what to do about it. I'm lacing you. And it's all going to come together in 3.0. No, 2.0 actually. 3.0 is something different. But what I'm saying is it's you getting the basics right now. Find yourself somewhere to sit in this woman's view. And then start letting your aura and confidence work together. Now, it may not be apparent to you at first. You might not know how to let your confidence and your aura work together, but over time, you're going to start to see, and you're going to start to feel your aura and your confidence working together. You'll see it and you'll feel it when it becomes one. Now, when you sit comfortably and you don't flirt, you don't look for any action. If you do have action, that person's going to come up to you or make herself in some way available to you. Now, bruh, I'm telling you to do this. Go sit down, get comfortable, ain't looking at nobody. Just do whatever you do. You know, get a drink, whatever. Just be cool. Somebody checking you out. If she make herself available to, let's say you at the bar, and then she comes up and says, hey, can I get a glass of water or whatever, so you can hear her voice. Don't hit on her. You can get her to hit on you. And when she do, just stay relaxed and play it by ear. If your back is like this and you hear her voice over here, just turn and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then turn back around. Just remember full well that you're prepared for anything. Don't rush any of this. Learning new information should not kill your momentum. Right now, you're combining your aura and your confidence. Your confidence is being shown to her by when you hear her voice. She wanted you to hear it, so you want her to know you heard it. So you turn around and say, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And then your confidence is on display when you turn back around because she's still looking at you because she wanted you, not necessarily looking at you, but she's paying attention to you because she wanted you to say hi, and you did. Now your aura takes over. If you got some action, she gonna say something to you. You want her to say something to you, but you ain't finna give her that action. See, what I'm saying is I'm such a selfish bastard. I'm giving you action or not. You ain't giving me none. I don't give a fuck about you. Shit. You don't know who you fucking with. That's what I think. Shit, I wish I would be tripping on you, girl. I ain't got I ain't got no trip. Just remember you're much more than confidence. It's only a small part of you, but let's face it. If you need 10 parts to make a whole 9.5 just won't do. So no matter how small or large a part of your confidence is, the main point is you have it. But don't let it make you lose the rest of your personality. Don't make the mistake of seeing yourself gain confidence and allowing that fact to make you arrogant. There's a thin line between arrogance and confidence. You gotta constantly be aware not to overlook the possibility that you're being an asshole. Confidence will do that to you if you're not careful. You'll be an asshole and won't even realize it. Now, we've already agreed that if you want to be confident around women, you got to be yourself, right? Now, for you to go forward, you got to have a complete understanding of what you're doing or what you want to accomplish with this course. Now, you got two minds: the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And what you learned is to get away from your negative conscious thoughts and get more into your positive to get away from your negative conscious thought to get more into your positive subconscious thoughts. Any negative thoughts about women should be probed. They should be analyzed, and you should know how to look at it. You should know how to look deeply into it to dissect it. Why? Because only then can you fully get rid of it. When your mind drifts, you now know to notice that it's drifting, and bring it back. Bring it back to the thought that you were thinking because you've already learned the power of your thoughts. Don't I want to say trap them without it. It's not trap them. Embrace them. Embrace your thoughts. Even if you've been training your mind, it may still be difficult for you, but I'm sure you can stop your mind from getting away from contemplation and concentration. If you remember that your thoughts are real forces, think while you sit across from this woman that she's dying to say something to you. You got your back to her. So you thinking, oh man, baby, she just, you know she finna say something. And you can think this to such an extent that you can will her over to you. I'm telling you, you may not be successful the first few times, but keep trying. This takes concentration and practice. You also, after a few minutes, and let's say she didn't turn around, but she didn't leave, that means she's waiting on you. So your confidence also shows after a couple of minutes and you spin around They say, girl, you still here? Hey, whatever, start your conversation. What I'm saying is when you make a play, it's got to end if it ain't working, so you got to get out some more. When you do these things, you got to think of them as sort of a game. Which one of these women can I get to say something or even walk over this way? I do that. I go in the bar, see some bras, look at one, I might do that, look at another, what's happening? I don't know which one coming over here, but I ain't going over there unless I want to. Now, when you think this way, it lightens what you're doing and it takes some of the pressure off the situation when you make it a game. Let me see which one of these damn women I can get to come over here. I know I could get one of them. Whatever you thinking. When she does walk over to you and speak, don't get too excited. See, you got to always be a gentleman, and you got to stand. Let's say you're sitting there and a girl walk over to you, whatever. You got to stand and offer her a seat with a polite hand gesture. And you use the hand gesture so that every person in the fucking bar can see that you're a gentleman. Then you proceed to have light conversation with her. See, by now, you should have harnessed the fact that your sending and receiving station of thoughts can enhance your attempts to speak to women. If you sending these thoughts out, then you're really, really thinking them. Shit, I'm telling you, this stuff is true. Since we understand that negative thoughts bring about similar thoughts, it only stands to reason that positive thoughts will do the same thing. Because thoughts are thoughts. It's just you think of negative thoughts, I think of positive thoughts. If you think positive thoughts, it's going to promote many more positive thoughts. Now remember, you can put any thought you choose into your mind by insertion. It don't have to be real. Think thoughts that promote your agenda is what I'm saying. You don't have to think about failing when it comes to talking to women. And if you are stuck in that reality, you ain't really understood your power. Every day, you should continue to think of the success you gonna have when it comes to talking with women. Every day, not just someday. Every day, you shouldn't take it lightly that your world and one world are connected. I know it sounds crazy as far as how it sounds, but this is the only way you can understand what I'm saying. Because you have to understand what I'm saying in order to absorb the information. This new knowledge has changed what goes on between them. Now, when you stop constantly reacting to one world, its dominance actually stopped. It doesn't dominate or it shouldn't dominate your thoughts anymore. Your power is coming, and it's going to come when you recognize this connection. The things you'll do to exercise your mind are easy too. And you only need them, you only need to do them a couple of times, a couple of minutes daily, maybe 5 minutes. You got to write down 3 things you learned from this course so far. 3 things that you want to work, excuse me. And you got to work on them. You got to write down 3 things that you have learned so far. And these things you want to work on. And then you got to work on them. That's simple. You got to take one of those things, one of them a day, and you got to contemplate it on it. You got to contemplate and concentrate separately, 5 to 15 minutes. You got to start at 5 and gradually build up to 15. Concentrating, I mean, you really have to focus on that one thought. Contemplating, you have to think about what you're going to do or how you're going to use that thought. Now, this is important. Sorry. This is very important to you. It's important for your growth. You got to do this. Contemplate the fact, excuse me, that you now got some game. Think about how important that is to you. And you want to raise the bar and learn how to use it. Getting a little game is whatever. The more you learn to use it, the more game you get. The more you use what you learn, the more game you get. And pretty soon you're going to be way up here with game. Contemplate that you are in control of the things you think. Whenever you look at a woman, you want to speak to, think about being in control to the extent you go speak to her. Remind yourself daily that there's many things you can do that don't require a response and many things that do require a response. You choose to do the things that require a response, but the key here is to not look for one. Hey, young lady, how you doing? She don't say shit. Keep walking. She got to stop you. Get this kind of thinking in your head, man. It's too many women out there to be running after women without knowing how to, choose which one you want to deal with. There's you. Okay, listen. I say choose things that require a response. You can do shit like opening a door for an elderly person, or like letting somebody cut in front of you in line, or when you see a blinker, slow down and let them over. Don't look for a goddamn response or any kind of acknowledgement. And slowly, you'll grow to where you won't need any acknowledgement. You got to make sure you keep yourself thinking correctly by checking your thoughts several times a day. And you got to go over your notes every day. Now, your mind is going to fight these exercises. I already explained that to you. And it's going to do that because it's spoiled. And it wants to do what it wants to do. But now you know your power will come from exercising your mind. And these exercises that I just mentioned are crucial. Now, the next section of this course is short but sweet. This section deals with trust. It's imperative that from this point on, you trust yourself implicitly. The only missing piece of this puzzle is in your hands. You want to know what that piece is? That piece is you fully trusting yourself. If you decide to make a move using your new tools, make sure you understand the extent of this tool you have. Now, I can remember back when I was new to using this mental strength I have. I was young in the game, and it took me a rather long time to catch my second woman. I was doing my thing and, getting out every night, but I couldn't come up. God dang, I couldn't come up with nothing. At first, naturally, I was discouraged until I realized this was a perfect time for me to study my craft and use everything as a class. So, just as I did, you need to do to access what it is you really want. And once you know what that is, use this course to get it. I was out on the stroll, just happy to be pimping. I wasn't trying to become a real, big pimp. Then I realized in order to become a pimp, I had to do and accept what real pimps did. They don't just get money. You, just as I did, must admit that you're trying to miss certain aspects of this catching. I was picking and choosing which broad to get at, trying to stay away from where I knew the real fly guys hang out to have drinks. I was doing a lot of stupid things, but as I thought about it, I decided that if I was to be a real pimp, I'm gonna need to get at every hoe, and regardless if she's loose or not. And I started doing what real pimps did. Now, two things came from that, and each one of them is a priceless jewel. I'm gonna share it with you right now, and all you need to do is use this knowledge, and you'll come out on top. Where would the confidence of a pimp come from? The confidence of a pimp comes from him doing the things a pimp do. It won't come with you trying to eliminate any part of it. Pimps ride on the stroll, they fuck with all the bitches, and they get jammed by the police. Now, my point is, you're going to get out and do all the things this course asks of you, because the only place your confidence will come from is your environment or the arena you're looking for it to work in. I'm reading this stuff to you because I don't want to get any of it wrong. This especially is important. You can become more confident using it or not. Whatever it is, you can use it or not. That's your choice. You learn how to use it or not use it. Whatever ability it is that concerns your confidence or your aura, you can use it or not whenever you want to now. But you're going to limit the benefits if you're not around a lot of women. Believe me, if you're told no 100 times a week, by 100 different women, you're not failing. You putting your work in. What you were doing before was like trying to hit a home run without even knowing how to swing the bat. Now you've been to training camp and you know so much more about what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish that you have a better chance. You realize it can only be done through you, what you're trying to accomplish. You got to learn how to use any information that you get. That's why I gave you some game first before showing you what to do. These things that I'm telling you, they're very simple things, but no life-altering information is all good. Even if the downside exists in comparison to some lives, you can't complain. Some people's life is so bad, your worst day is heaven to them. Long as you recognize that, long as you recognize that there's no such thing as it's all good. And there's only one way you're going to be able to gain from this course, and that's be willing to go through the good and the bad of using it. Now, right now, we're getting close to the end of this part of the course. So I got to tell you the bad part. The bad part about it is this shit is not going to eliminate you getting refused or rejected by some women. But you know how to deal with rejection now, and knowing prepares you for not only accepting being refused, but knowing how not to allow it to, getting refused or hurt you. And this information is priceless. You didn't learn in this course that getting refused is one of the biggest assets to getting accepted. The second important thing that come to me from that experience is realizing that the first person in the world you lie to is yourself. Whenever you prepare to tell a lie, you tell it to yourself first. You go over it until you feel it don't sound like a lie, and then you tell it to whoever the hell you prepared to tell it to. That's how life works, and we need to accept it. Unfortunately, the lie, in this instance, can thwart your progress towards gaining confidence. This is why you don't want to tell yourself any lies. Did you really go over all these exercises? Did you ritually incorporate what you learned into your daily actions and thoughts? Because if you didn't and you made yourself accept that you've done your best, guess what? You only fooling yourself. In order to get the absolute most out of this course, You must eat, sleep, drink, walk, talk, think, and be it. This course. You'll be able to do this with little effort in the end, but you must first learn how to do it. That's where this course comes in, and believe me, it never gets old. So get out of your comfort zone and get into creating an ability to not need any kind of zone. A man of confidence does not require a particular zone to shine in. You may be in any kind of environment you can imagine and you'll know how to conduct yourself. So, well, you can be in any kind of environment and you'll know how to conduct yourself so that you're recognized for the caliber of man you are. This is all that's important to you, being seen as who you truly are. You see, once you truly confident, you may have thought you was working on your confidence concerning women, but just by the fact that you now have confidence in you, it's going to shed light in other areas of your life that you had no idea you was working on. See, we haven't even spoken about sex, but believe me, I got hella shit to say about that too. I think of all kinds of things. All the things I think of are to help you become the right man for your life.